At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
It's Mardi Gras time here on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer. This show is known as Deep South Dining. We're glad you're here. And if you're interested in being a part of our show, we'd love to have you call, email, whatever turns you on. It's toll free. It's easy. It's 1-877-672-7464. Or you can just shoot us an email to food@mpbonline.org. Today, we are excited about a very special program that Carol has envisioned for us. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to do in segments 2 and 3.
Envisioning. We have our great friends.
Recording in progress.
Whoa!
I don't know what that was.
Leslie Kelly from Seattle, Washington.
But we've had Leslie on before.
We did
a Zoom
segment
with her a while back. I don't remember when.
And Leslie was a food editor at the Commercial Appeal a few years ago. And also Bill Smith from Crook's Corner in Chapel Hill.
The legendary
Bill Smith and the legendary Crook's Corner. He is retired, but the legend lives on. And just briefly, we were part of a group last weekend that went to New Orleans to celebrate the reunion, a 20-year reunion of a group from Southern Foodways and Viking Range who went and worked at Willie Mae's Scotch House in Dooky Chase, rebuilding after Katrina.
Right. So y'all all gathered down in New Orleans.
We gathered up.
And
Bill and Leslie were both, really key people in that rebuilding effort. And it was Leslie's idea to bring people together. So we celebrated Willie Mae's and we celebrated at Dooky Chase. And there'll be some fun things to talk about.
That's great. So we'll do that in the second and third segment. Meanwhile, Carol, yesterday was the Super Bowl. I don't know if you watched. We haven't talked about it, or if you're even interested. Did you?
I am very interested, and I know that Leslie, being from Seattle,
very excited.
We have to congratulate her when we see her.
The winner of the game was the Seahawks, in case you live under a palm tree somewhere and you don't watch television or keep up with current events. It was a pretty lackluster offensive game in the early goings, mostly defense. By halftime, I think the score was only 9-0. But in the second half, they began to blow it up a little bit. I think it ended 23-13 or something like that. Seattle Seahawks over the New England Patriots. But the thing about Super Bowl, for me, I love the game. I love the halftime. I don't want to get into the controversy about the halftime. It was spectacular. If you're into art and music and culture, it was really a great show. But the food that people consume, that's what we talk about around here. Now, at my house, I had a pregame brunch. Then I had a meal for the game, and then a special Super Bowl dessert. I led off with a rack of ribs, barbecued ribs, and some potato salad, which
that posted,
which I made. And that was about noonish. Again, the broadcast didn't start until 4, and the game was, 6 or so. So around noon, that was my meal. And then for the meal itself, Kara made a giant pot of chicken tortilla soup made with a tomato base using last year's tomatoes from the Patterson clan out in Canton, Mississippi. So we had that soup. It was delicious. And then for dessert, an apple peach jam tart or galette, whatever one might want to call it.
Yes,
it's
and for
here.
all the YouTubers, it's sitting here on a piece of aluminum foil, and I reluctantly gave it up. Malcolm brought it to me, and I'm afraid that since it's there, somebody's going to come snatch it.
Oh, no. That's yours. No one can have it. Now, next to the galette is a king cake from Broad Street in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, we've been working our way through king cakes. In fact, I forgot to tell you, Leslie Kelly bought an Elvis king cake, which we'll see later on. But last week we had a loblolly. We had one that Frank Brightson made.
Delicious.
And so today we'll celebrate Broad Street.
Speaking of loblolly, bring your mic up just a little bit.
Okay.
There. I stopped in there. I had a meeting in Wiggins this week, and I drove down.
That's your hometown.
Stone County, back where I come from. And on the way down, I stopped in Hattiesburg and visited with Martha Foos. And then after a visit with her at her home and with her mom, Sissy, then I went to Loblolly, got in line, because these days I think there's always a line at Loblolly. Waited in a long line of tourists who were there for the king cakes.
I think they listened to our show last week.
They must have,
with the king cake gurus.
You're welcome, Robert. Anyway, waited in line and got myself a giant box of pastries. I got croissants, and I got almond croissants, and I got a thing called peach cobbler, a pastry. I don't know. I got 7 or 8 things, and I got a loaf of some of the finest sourdough bread that you can lay your chompers on.
Donald Bender makes that.
Donald Bender at Loblolly can flat out make sourdough.
And hey, all you folks out there in Radio Land, it is pretty fine that Mississippi has one of the 25 top bakeries in the United States, according to the New York Times.
Now, I don't remember if the King Cake Mafia, who was with us last week, whose job it is to travel about and taste king cakes and rate them. I know they rated Robert's very high. We didn't ask them about Brightson's while we had them, but I enjoyed taking the Brightson's king cake home and
I don't know if that's
terrific.
really a commercial venture for him.
Probably not.
When we went to the King Cake Hub,
yeah,
there was a section that said craft king cake. So these weren't the ones that were mass produced.
Right. Well, it was a delicious king cake. Very different. It was a tres leches cake with some other festive ingredient. I can't remember. Anyway, it was delicious. Now, last week, this is a correction. Last week, I talked about these muffalettas that I had discovered, or that Kara had discovered, whole muffalettas dressed, ready to warm and consume. And I said they were at Costco. Well, I was wrong. After about 4 text, email, conversations, people saying, I'm at Costco, I can't find the muffalettas. I finally asked Kara where she got them. Turns out she got them from Fresh Market in Richmond.
And you were double wrong.
I was wrong about that, and I was also wrong about who made them. I said Central Grocery. Not so. It's Progress Grocery makes them, ships them down to Fresh Market. But the thing I was right about, and each one of these people who contacted me and got one will confirm, they're really good. Really good. Muffalettas, fully dressed. All you do is pop them in the oven and eat them up. So sorry about that for folks who I sent to the wrong store for the wrong product. Sometimes it happens, Carol.
It does happen, Mel.
Now, what happened at your house during Super Bowl, besides the fact that you watched the game?
Now, I'm embarrassed to say what I cooked for Super Bowl because it is not very I was having an old school week last week. First, in the middle of the week, I made beef stroganoff.
You did, and I mean,
who has even thought about beef stroganoff unless you're, in Austria, or it's a Russian dish, but the Austrians really know how to do it.
Gotcha.
But I did that, and then yesterday I spent the afternoon making beef bourguignon.
You've been on a beef roll.
And that's not me, but
what sort of cut of beef are you using here?
Well, for
round?
the beef, and you can use a round, but for the beef bourguignon, I had like a 3-pound chuck roast. And then cut it in cubes. And
you marinated in the red wine?
It cooks down in the red wine. But so you brown it first, and then, you add all your other stuff, and you pour in the wine, put it in the oven, and it's pretty fine. It's great. Not your typical Super Bowl food.
No. Well, I think anything that brings additional joy to the experience of watching the game and the halftime and the pageantry and the commercials. Let us not leave out the Super Bowl commercials, where all great and new and innovative ads are displayed on the Super Bowl. I saw some pretty cool ads. But I wanted to tell you, on Cooking and Coping, I posted a couple things this week, and one of them was this fried egg sandwich.
I know. I really have been wanting to talk to you about that.
Please, go ahead.
Well, we do a lot of fried egg sandwiches, too. But, of course, you have to have a twist on yours.
Yeah.
And so you're doing yours on a brioche bun instead of bunny bread.
Correct. Brioche.
And you also had another...
Whole wheat brioche. That came from Whole Foods.
Well, and you also had a secret ingredient hailing back to you're trying to always create a muffaletta in your mind. So
That's
you
right.
had olive salad on your fried egg sandwich.
My mind is on vacation and my mouth is on a muffaletta.
Yep. But it looked delicious.
It was terrific.
Yes, and it sparked a lot of conversation.
It did. My traditional egg sandwich is fried egg, blistered, crunchy on the edges, almost burned with a soft yolk on just a piece of whatever bread you got. Growing up, it was always white bread. Later, it became wheat, and now it's evolved even more to sourdough sometimes and brioche sometimes. But it's, it's diner's choice on bread. But it used to just be bread, yellow mayonnaise, yellow mustard, and egg. And that's the way I grew up on them. Now, because I have access to lots of fun things, I go with the wheat brioche bun and a little bit of olive salad. I also put mayonnaise on mine. So now it's mustard, mayonnaise, olive salad, and fried egg. Now, one thing I will caution people about using the olive salad is that mustard and olive salad are both very salty. So you have to be cautious about, don't want to have too much salt going on there.
Well, you heard it here on Deep South Dining. Nobody can accuse us on this show of being precious about our food.
No.
We're about the hot dog.
We love a hot dog.
Yeah, and we're about the fried egg sandwich.
Fried egg sandwich, that's right. Anything else cooking this past week for you? Got any tidbits, questions, concerns, info?
No, I'm just,
okay.
I'm good.
You brought some cookbooks, I see.
Well, I brought Bill Smith's cookbook, which is one of my favorites. You can tell the dog ears. And I also bought, since we're going to be talking about Dooky Chase, one of Leah Chase's. You gave me a Leah Chase cookbook maybe 20 years ago. Yep. And then I picked up this one when I was down there.
You also brought John T's book.
I did. John T. Edge, our good friend, House of Smoke. He has a chapter in the book that covers the story of Willie Mae's Scotch House.
And there's a short documentary which you sent me. Mm-hmm. Is that done by Joe York? Who is that? Southern Foodways?
Yes, and it's on the Southern Foodways website, or you can just look on YouTube and put Willie Mae's Scotch House, and all sorts of fine things will come up.
So if you never heard of her, Willie Mae Seaton, Seaton, born and raised in Crystal Springs, Mississippi in 1916, moved to New Orleans with her husband in 1940 because he got a job at the shipyard. She opened Willie Mae Scotch House in 1957, and you guys were down there helping her bail it out from Katrina in 2005?
2006.
2006.
Yeah, right after. But something interesting you told me when you were looking up Willie Mae's lineage is that she's from Crystal Springs.
Right.
And
Robert Johnson is from
the great blues singer.
Hazelhurst. Mm-hmm. They're just minutes apart, like Wiggins and Perkinston. And he was born in 1911, I think, and she was born in 1916. So growing up in Crystal Springs, she would have been around the same time that Robert Johnson was in that part of the world.
You know, that does kind of anchor that in history, especially for me with Robert Johnson, because, you know, he died in his 20s. And
up in the Delta, in Greenwood, right?
Yes.
Up that way, yeah.
Yep, he paid attention to the wrong woman.
Yeah, it happens. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Carol is going to introduce our two guests today, and they're going to tell us a fascinating story about their reunion last weekend in New Orleans as this group of concerned people who love the traditions, the cuisine of New Orleans and the South, all came together to help out the folks who were really trying to save and reopen Willie Mae's Scotch House, as well as Dooky Chase. So we're going to have a great conversation with Carol and Bill and Leslie. So we'll be right back after a short break. If you want to join the conversation, jump on in there, 1-877-672-7464. More Deep South Dining in just a moment.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Hatred destroys the one who hates. The others that you hated, go on about their business, care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included. It's Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar's right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more.
School choice, rural hospitals, voter access. The 2026 Mississippi Legislature will impact you and your family for years to come. MPB brings you At Issue, a weekly analysis of the legislative session and the issues affecting you with perspectives from both sides of the aisle. Brandon Jones and new At Issue analyst Rebecca Staples join me, Wilson Stribling, every Monday at 5 p.m. only on MPB Think Radio and wherever you get your podcasts. MPB, your stories, our mission.
That you are with us this afternoon, and if you want to get involved in the show, you can give us a call, shoot us an email. Either way, we'd love to hear from you, or just sit back and relax and let us drive this ship. Carol, today we have two special guests joining us that are part of a reunion that you and your group of friends had last weekend, I think, in New Orleans.
It was a reunion of some folks that did some very important work after Hurricane Katrina, and that was the rebuilding of Willie Mae's Scotch House and the rehab of Dooky Chase. And we'll start with just introducing my friends, our friends. Malcolm, as you know, they're fellow Southern Foodways Alliance members.
Right.
And I'll start with Leslie Kelly. And Leslie was a and is a beloved food writer. Still in Memphis, they talk about you, Leslie.
Oh, I'm blushing, Carol.
I don't know how you got there, but boy, did you have fun, didn't you?
Oh, I sure did. I still love Memphis. I miss it all the time. I love to go back there any old time. You want to meet there? We'll have a reunion there too.
Okay, we can do that. But you know what I'd like to say about Leslie in that period of time is sometimes it takes somebody from way across the country to interpret the food of your own place and make it special. And you certainly did that in Memphis.
Well, there were so many incredible stories to tell there. And I just feel so fortunate that I, was in the right place at the right time. And my big leap into the Southern Foodways Alliance, that was very crucial in connecting with a lot of incredible people, including you and Bill Smith and the folks who were on the reunion last week.
So after Memphis, you went back to your native state, which is Washington. Is that right? Is that where your people are?
Well, I'm a native Californian, if you can believe it. But I had lived in Washington State for a number of years. And yes, my husband and I got hired back at a newspaper in Seattle, which promptly folded in a couple of years and sent me onto the great American hustle, but it's all good. It all worked out.
Well, you've had a great hustle. I found you in the weirdest of places, Forbes magazine, for a while.
Yeah.
What a gig. And then you and your husband actually travel around the country.
We did.
In a camper van.
Yes, we did, and we still managed to stay married, which is a frickin' miracle. But it was just something that we kind of decided to do about 7 years ago, and we went everywhere, including a big swath of the South, back to some, and we actually stayed in our RV in New Orleans, Louisiana, if you can believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, and hit some of our favorite spots.
Well, I remember following you, and it was a lot during COVID. I think you were out on the road, but you were having ribs from, I think it was Rendezvous, FedExed to a post office box in Arizona near a state park where you were. I said, gosh, Leslie really, really wants those ribs.
Have you had those ribs, Carol?
Of course. Yeah, and the other thing is you were begging people for Duke's mayonnaise. You were out in the middle of nowhere. So anyway,
it's a lot easier to get Duke's these days. But
it is. Sadly, I'm a Duke's person. Malcolm is a Hellman's, just so you'll know.
Yes.
And hey there, Bill Smith. I think there you go.
All right. Hey. What's up?
Got a lot up. Where are you? It looks like a gorgeous place.
It's my living room. Thank you.
With paintings all around. I guess the only part of your house I've ever seen, which is on social media, is your kitchen table.
Right. My third story walk off, I call it, because it's such everybody thinks that a chef will have a fancy kitchen, and I don't. It's about 4 feet wide and 6 feet long with a wobbly table. So.
Well, Bill Smith is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where he was chef for many years. How many years, Bill?
25.
At Crook's Corner, one of the legendary and just most acclaimed restaurants in the country, and one of my all-time favorites. And Malcolm, we've talked about Crook's Corner and the origins of, with Bill Neal.
Yeah, it's a legendary story of not only Crook's Corner, but I guess the work that Bill did. What was the name of the restaurant in the old homestead? What was it called? Bill.
La Residence?
Yeah.
It was La Residence is where he and Morton first had their first restaurant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you involved in that?
I was, in fact, but not. I came there. It was sort of complicated. I hadn't planned on being a chef, and one of my roommates was the head waitress there, and so they needed somebody to peel potatoes. And I owned a rock and roll club, but we couldn't make any money, so I had to get a day job. And so,
boy, do I know that story.
You sound like Malcolm.
Well, anyway, there's two things you just mentioned, Bill, that I can relate to: owning a rock and roll club and being a dishwasher. That's the first job I ever had in the biz.
Well, you can always get a job as a dishwasher.
That's right.
Always.
That's right. I was very good dishwasher.
When Bill and Morton got divorced, I stayed with Morton at La Residence, and Bill went on to found Crook's Corner, and then he passed away, and it was about a 5-year gap. And then La Residence got sold, and then I got hired down the street at Crook's Corner, so I followed him. But
both legendary eateries in this part of the world.
Yeah, and I'm holding up for all the YouTube people my copy of Seasoned in the South. And this is one of the best cookbooks ever done. It's still in print.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is still in print. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, aren't you glad you did it now? I mean, I know what I know. It was
when I was doing it. No, but now
I know it. I remember
like
when you were doing it. This is, quite the thing. But so many of your great, recipes are immortalized. I was telling Malcolm about honeysuckle sorbet.
Yeah.
I called it honeysuckle ice cream, but is it truly a sorbet?
No, it's sorbet.
Okay.
Yeah. And you were mentioning Martha Foose earlier, and she came to Crook's one time when it was when we happened to have it, because it was very seasonal. And I went out there, and she was like shaking her head. She said, "I had to take my hair down."
That's Martha.
Yeah.
So tell us about honeysuckle sorbet and how you mass produce. I mean, how in the world can you make that and serve it at a restaurant?
All right, this is sort of complicated, but first of all, in the parking lot, there was this giant honeysuckle thing growing all over a hedge, and my boss kept saying, "Can't you make something to eat out of this? Can't you make something to eat out of this?" And I said, well, maybe, I don't know. And so for a couple of years of nagging, and so I kept trying to cook the flowers, thinking that I could extract the flavor, but you don't. That ruins the flavor. If you heat the flowers, you can't do it. And have you ever heard of that book, The Leopard, by the Prince of Lampedusa?
I have not.
No.
All right. Well, it's just sort of a classic for me. No reason. The reason I bring it up is because there's a woman came God, what's her name? Simonetti. Her last name. She was an American who married a man from Sicily, and she wrote a cookbook and kept quoting from The Leopard. And so I bought The Leopard, and I read that. And then somewhere in there, it says that they made a jasmine ice by putting flowers in cold water overnight and letting them sit on the counter. So thanks to The Leopard and Miss Simonetti, I tried that with honeysuckle, and it worked. And then I just had it with sugar syrup to mix with this infusion it sits overnight, and it's magical. It's like, what? Oh my God, I can't believe this.
So did you keep up with the honeysuckle in the parking lot, or did you have to scavenge near and far?
Once it became known, it was like a source of conflict in the city, because we would run out. I can only make so much, and people would get really mad, and they'd come in and they'd order that first, or they'd call ahead and try to reserve it. And well, we had to make all the rules. You can't do any of those things. You can't have it first, and you can't reserve it. And when it's gone, and you have to shut up. So, but in the meantime, there's a railroad track that ran across the street from Crook's, and it was full of honeysuckle vines. And so I would get the kitchen going, and I put a beer in each pocket, and I'd run out on my bike and ride up and down and pick honeysuckles. Even that wasn't enough. So then the wives of some of the men who worked for me, they had a bunch of kids, and they would go to the parks. And they said, well, it's all over the parks. So I would pay them $15 for every 8 cups. And then it began to flow in because they thought I'd lost my mind. Are you crazy? This is a weed. So they from then on, I had plenty. And we served like 800 servings some summers. It was crazy.
Wow.
But we never ran out after that. So,
did you serve Atlantic Beach pie all year too? I mean, that's another.
I did eventually. Yeah, that's because of Southern Foodways too. They came down to Eastern North Carolina for a barbecue trip, and I'm from down there. I'm from New Bern, down in Eastern North Carolina, and they said we want one dinner with an Eden barbecue. So I was like, okay. Remember that pie we used to love? They had they served at the restaurants along the beach, because you were only supposed to have lemon desserts if you'd eaten fish for some reason growing up. That's what they told us. So everybody had a version of this pie. Well, I mean, who knows? Everybody had a version of this pie, And so we got church cookbooks, poked around, found this recipe. So for the dinner that we had on the riverbank for Southern Foodways, and I made this pie. It was the first time I'd ever made it. You know, we made a million of them, and it was really easy and it was really good. And then it got loose, and then now I could never not have it anymore after that. And we never did another pie after that except it.
Okay.
All right, we got a caller. Let's take this call from our buddy Joe calling from Mississippi in the United States, it says here on my...
You know who I think that is?
Hello, Joe.
It is.
Joe Sherman.
Hey.
The Lebanese breeze is on the line.
I'm here, baby. I'm here. I want to be part of this conversation because I was on the original trip to New Orleans to clean up Dooky chases and bring home Leidenheimer bread from my friend at the bakery.
Huh.
Well, I remember washing some chairs with you, about 300 at Dooky Chase.
Yeah. Yeah, we washed several chairs, and I had the great chore of cleaning up in the kitchen. And unfortunately, Katrina had brought in some protein that we don't serve, so we had to get rid of it.
That is correct.
It was actually in the deep fat fryer, but we took care of that.
Bill is nodding his head because he was the one with Scott Barton that actually removed the range with the...
Look, it was something, and... But so the funny story that happened to Mary Pryor and I, we were sorry we couldn't make it to the reunion, but she's on a scooter because she had foot surgery. But when we checked in at the Monteleone, we go up to our room and we had this giant room. We got a jacuzzi. We had champagne, and I said, "Wow, what a deal!" So we came back downstairs, and started talking about it, and somebody, Catherine Cole said, "I didn't have a jacuzzi. I didn't have any champagne." Well, what we realized was when Katrina hit, we were in Bravo, and there was a couple up here from New Orleans that we were given directions to for a place to go stay. And it was Ron Pincus, and he was the operations manager of the Monteleone Hotel. And he gave us a room. He upgraded our room, so to speak. So we shut our mouth for the rest of the week.
Gotta be careful where you brag. Well, Leslie... I'm sorry, Leslie, can you sort of tell us about the reunion and how this idea came and how y'all all figured out?
Well, probably 6 months ago, I was interviewing Donald Link about the 25th anniversary of Herb Saint, which opened, and, you know, he had to deal with the whole Katrina fallout. And I said, "Did you guys do anything to commemorate the 20th anniversary?" And he said, "No." And, you know, it's still traumatic for so many people who went through it. And it got me thinking, like, yes, of course, it's not an anniversary you want to celebrate, but I kind of want efforts to bring people together to help put it back together because we love the place so much. And I recently just rewatched the Saving Willie Mae's Scotch House, and I want to give proper shout out to John Currents because he really stepped in and stepped up on that project, you know, hands on. And so anyway, he couldn't make it this last weekend, but we sure had a lot of fun, and we ate an amazing amount of good food. Am I right, Bill?
We did good.
And I assume y'all ate at Willie Mae's and at Dooky's, right?
We did both, yes.
Yeah,
it was wonderful.
Yeah, Bill, you want to tell us a little bit about Willie Mae's, the old and the new, and kind of what your experience and why it was important.
Well, I knew of Willie Mae, but I didn't know her. I'd never been there until we got there after the hurricane, and it was destroyed. I mean, she lived in the back of that thing, remember? She was really, really old at that point, and they had found her sitting on the steps, I think, with her purse, because she disappeared for a couple of days. And they were all worried about her, and anyway, it was destroyed. It was gone. I think the windows were broken out, and it was filthy. And, it was, that neighborhood. I mean, you were there too. That neighborhood was like mud and all the motor oil out of cars that floated out and all this stuff. Yeah. It was disgusting. And so she would come and just sort of, I mean, she didn't talk much, but she would come and sort of sit and watch us and sort of, and just say thank you every once in a while and other stuff. And one time, so I don't know, I don't know how we even got the fuel for the stove. Maybe the gas line was still intact. I don't know. She came in one afternoon and she made fried chicken for us.
Wow.
The legendary fried chicken.
No, she did. She was famous for it.
And just months before Katrina, she had been awarded a James Beard Award for America's Classic, and for her fried chicken. And she and her great-granddaughter Carrie, who now runs it, went to New York.
Yeah, she was there
for the ceremony. And Willie Mae, when the police found her after Katrina, she actually had her James Beard medal in a little Ziploc bag in her purse.
Oh, did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so they called she was trying to prove who she was. She was just sitting on the steps. And
she was sitting on the steps. That's what I heard,
and that's what, that was why the connection, the police actually called the James Beard Foundation in New York. To ask about Willie Mae. Because she was homeless. Her restaurant was...
No, it was a ruin. I mean, really, I think it had a roof still, but I feel like one wall was gone even maybe or something. Because I felt like it was never enclosed, and you could see her little apartment was in the back. And it was all soggy and awful, and I don't know where she was living then. Somebody must have taken her in. I don't know, but no, it was still, it was like, 5 months after Katrina when we started doing that, because that was in the fall.
It was in January, I think, when we started.
And it looked like it had happened the day before to me. All over the city, it was such a mess. Right. It was unbelievable. And I grew up on the coast of North Carolina. We have hurricanes all the time, but we don't have a big city that one's ever hit. So I wasn't prepared for what I saw there. I mean, it was amazing how ruined everything was ruined. It seemed like to me. I never thought. I really didn't think New Orleans was going to recover. Honestly, I thought, God, this is it for them. Because it's never been a wealthy city. A lot
of people say that it has never been the same. And
it may not have been. Yeah. But it was a working class city, really. I mean, it really was. It was like regular people could go there and have a good time and not go broke. That's what I loved about it.
Well, what condition was Dooky Chase in compared to Willie Mae's, and y'all worked at both of those, right?
Yeah, she had more elevation. She was higher up, so her little bar was ruined, but the dining room was just like there was a water line about midway up, but the kitchen, your friend was just saying that it was there was a fryer that had drowned rats in it and stuff, because the kitchen was lower down. It had filled up with water and it was, I think everything, I can remember, Carol, I think it was even you, that was like, there were dishes that you could wash and save, and there was metal you could wash and save, and then there's other stuff that was trash. So somebody was in there sorting, okay, we can save these dishes if we wash them, but this is trash. And then, it had all the food and everything in it too. I remember it smelled awful. I mean,
yeah, it was, some of the gumbo pots, the stock pots you could put a whole person in.
Yes, that's true.
So, Leslie, tell us, the Willie Mae's we went to last weekend is a new version, and tell us a little bit about that and how it felt and what it was about.
Carrie Seaton, Willie Mae's great-granddaughter, has done a tremendous job of evolving the mission. She's still serving the same really satisfying, comfort food that speaks to so many of us. But she is now doing it because Willie Mae's in Treme suffered a tremendous fire within the last year, and it's been closed since then. And so she has started a new place. It's called Willie Mae's NOLA. And I'm trying to remember the street it's on, but it's such a really lovely.
It's on Barone. It's on Barone Street.
Barone, yes,
near Lee Circle.
Yes, and it just had so much energy. It was a Saturday. Everybody was there. We all ordered way too much food and somehow managed to then go to dinner later on. But the food is tremendous. The atmosphere is great. And Carrie is there carrying on the mission of her grandmother. And
she's very charming, too, don't you think?
Yes, she's very charming.
Yeah.
Well,
really
some of the
sweet.
food we had, now, Bill, I always like to look at what you're eating, and then you notice I always eat what you're eating. So I started
I did that with drinks and you.
Yeah, with drink. So you were having a sweet potato. Is it sweet potato or yam old-fashioned?
The sweet potato old-fashioned. It was with a toasted marshmallow in it.
Yeah, the toasted marshmallow was, on top.
That was good.
And I had eggs Benedict on chicken boudin. Eggs Benedict, collards, and chicken boudin with the eggs and the sauce on top. It was delicious.
I had fried chicken with rice and lima beans.
Yeah, her fried chicken has, people say it's the best they've ever eaten. It has a quality. She would never tell her secret, but.
Well, they use a wet batter.
Yes, wet batter. That's true.
Yeah, and I think that is key to how it's so crispy, but it's so flavorful too. And I noticed this time I'm a fried chicken addict, and I think I make a pretty decent fried chicken myself. But this time I noticed that there was maybe even some Tabasco between.
There was something hot in it. You're right.
Yeah, there was something hot in it. It was Tabasco
in
between the skin and the flesh, and it was so good. And
it was really good. Yeah.
And Miss Carrie was there, and she was telling us how much it meant to her and her family that we had showed up back then to support them. And we heard this from Stella at Dooky Chase's later that night. It was so, I was eating my chicken with tears in my eyes because it was just so heartfelt, and we're there, wanting to show up for them. And they were so grateful for us showing up.
All right, let's take a short break. Leslie and Bill, take a short break, get in one, and then we'll come back with a continuation of this conversation. Hope you're enjoying it. I know I am. I'm learning a lot. This is terrific. So, Carol, thank you for this suggestion. This is Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Welcome back to Deep South Dining on MPB Think Radio. Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, and our very special guest today, Leslie Kelly and Bill Smith. We're having a terrific conversation about the work y'all did 20 years ago down in New Orleans, and I'd really like to hear a lot more about the Dooky Chase.
Well, let me just set the table, and then I'll turn it to Bill and Leslie. Dooky Chase is a very historic restaurant in New Orleans. It's one of the oldest black-owned restaurants in the United States. And in New Orleans, it was the first fine dining black restaurant. And Leah Chase, who is, a goddess to us all, who is no longer with us, she said that she would go down in the French Quarter and all over New Orleans in the Garden District and see these white tablecloth restaurants and the beautiful crystal and the silver, and someday she wanted to have that. And that's just what Dooky Chase is. It's an art gallery. It has a very important collection of African-American art, great food, but its importance to the community just can't be understated. And so I'll let y'all take it from there, Leslie and Bill.
Bill, what did you order that night?
Let's see. What did I get first? I got the I just got the shrimp clemenceau because T. Adelaide over at Commander's Palace had done this video on Instagram because there'd been a shooting in Dooky Chase the week before, and she said everybody don't blame them. Everybody needs to go down there and support them and have the shrimp clemenceau. So that's what I had. It was delicious. It was more than I could eat, but that was okay. I did what I could.
Yeah, it is such a vibrant and beautiful dining room, as Carol said, with the art and with just also with the staff. It feels like family. It feels like you're home. It feels like, okay, they're going to take care of me, and they did. I had the black and red fish, and I ate every bite of it, and I think I snuck some of Bill's shrimp as well. And I think what made that place so special again was Miss Leah. And I was so fortunate that I got to spend some time with her and with Stella when we were working on the project. And she was right there. She was staying there. Remember, Bill? I
do, across the street in a trailer.
Yeah. She was there watching out for her place.
With a baseball cap on. A blue baseball cap.
I really hope one day we can do a whole show here with Stella Chase, who is Leah's daughter. And also now they have a fourth generation that has, that has come into the business. And
Stella was just like her mother, didn't you think?
Yes.
She was just like her mother. She was like hugged us, and she was just clearly so glad that we were there, and just as sweet as could be, and just like her mother.
And we got to say hello to her son, Duke.
Yes. Looks like a movie star.
Taking the reins in the kitchen. Yep, he is. And again, it just felt like you're very welcome there. And then standing outside, there's a marker that says, this was a very important civil rights touchdown for so many people that, heads of state met there. Barack Obama has been there, and this goes back for me to the original hook that the Southern Foodways Alliance offered, was that idea that if we can all just gather at the table, we can figure it all out. We can work it all out. And, I still believe that to this day. And I just was so happy to be back in New Orleans, one of the greatest cities on the planet, and certainly one of the most delicious places you're ever going to go.
There's nothing like it. There's no place like it in the world. No. It's sui generis. It really is. It's like there's no explaining New Orleans.
Bill and Leslie and Malcolm, I think one of the things that has touched me so much about visiting these places is that places like this mean something. They mean to the people. to the community and to be able to rebuild and open those restaurants. It was a huge gift to the community.
Well,
and I want to highlight John Currents again. I mean, he did holy work, taking off months to rebuild Willie Mays.
He knew how to do construction. He knew how to build things, which I did not know how to do. I could haul crap out, but he knew actually how to build something.
You could deal with dead rats, but you couldn't rebuild a dining room
I can't
table.
put a roof back on. No.
Yeah, and in the documentary again, the Saving Willie Mays Scotch House, Lola's Eli, who is from New Orleans, born and raised New Orleans, and he talked a lot about places that made the city so much of what it is, and they are a lot of the restaurants, and it is it's heartening to see. It's heartening to go back. Granted, we were only there for a weekend. I could spend a month there and eat my way around, but it was heartening to see that these places are open, they're thriving. Now, that said, while we were there, it was very, very cold and a water main broke and there was a sinkhole in the Uptown neighborhood. So it's like,
that's just New Orleans. Hey,
why is God picking on New Orleans again?
All right, folks.
On our way out, I just want to also give a shout out to Restaurant to Gabrielle. We ate there. Great Southern foodways, folks. Also in the Treme. Fantastic. We'll talk about them next time.
All right, Leslie Kelly and Bill Smith, icons in the American South culinary world. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real honor, and go Seahawks. Deep South Dining is a production of Mississippi Public Broadcasting's Think Radio, is funded by the generous contributions from listeners like yourself. Our show was produced by Marissa Vaughn. For our very special guests, Leslie Kelly, Bill Smith, for my co-host, Carol Palmer, I am Malcolm White saying please stay tuned for At Issue up next, and join us next Monday at 4 p.m. for more Deep South Dining, and every Sunday at 9 a.m., heard only on MPB Think Radio.